What's up, guys? It's about 100 degrees outside today, and it's going to be like 100 degrees for the rest of the week. So it's pretty safe to say that I'm not going to go skateboarding anytime soon. I think next week is a little cooler, so fingers crossed I'm able to get back out there on the board. I thought I would still make a video and show up, and I wanted to share with you guys a pretty crazy chase story from my youth. I'm not sure what technically happened with what happened. We didn't get caught, we got away. So I'm not too sure where that case lies. Fingers crossed the statute of limitations is finished on that one. So basically the story goes, it was me and a couple of other mates that we won't name, just because I said earlier the statute of limitation and everything. And they never caught us, so they could possibly still be looking for us. We were going to paint a trackside, which is a spot that you paint along the train line. In Sydney, there's train lines everywhere. Like, it actually has a really good public transport system. You can catch a train from all corners of Sydney, all over the place, to the beaches, to out west, down south, to the east. Like, there's a bunch of train lines everywhere, so there's plenty of spots to paint. We were staying local this night. We were going to go paint a spot that was like a station down from our local station. So we got on the train, brought the train to the station we were getting off at, got off the train, kind of walked off the platform, which is super red hot because there's cameras. But you know, when you're 17, you're invincible. You don't really care about, you never think that you're going to get done. So walked off the platform, walked down to the bridge we were painting, and everything went fine. Apart from like a few trains coming back to the yard, because it was late at night. When a train comes, you would just duck down in a bush, hide behind like a wall or something, just kind of lay down, make sure you're not being seen. So anytime we would see a train, we would just lay down. We all finished our pieces, everything went fine. And then we still had paint left over and we were kind of hungry. So we were like, why don't we just go get back on the train, go to Macca's, like eat some food. Macca's is McDonald's if you guys aren't sure, if you're watching from America. And then we'll go paint some more. So that's what we did. We're waiting at the station. It might have been like a 10-minute wait or something. And where I was sitting, there was a scarf someone had lost or left on the bench. So I seen the train pulling in. I grabbed the scarf. I wrapped it around my face. We got on the train, and it was a Millennium train. So if you're familiar with like City Rail or Sydney Trains, what's it called now, you'll know about the Millennium train. It's like one of the newer trains. It's like cleaner and nicer. There's cameras everywhere. As soon as we stepped foot on that train, we all had our faces covered, and we just started bombing the inside of this train carriage. What I mean by bombing is like we started like writing graffiti on the inside of the train, because we knew we only had to get off at one stop, like one stop more, which is like 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. We bombed the train, got off at the next station, and then we were smart enough to be like, let's stash our paint here because we need to cross a main road to get to McDonald's. So we stashed our paint like kind of hidden in a bush near the train station, went to Macca's. And I remember I had like just enough money to buy like a large Big Mac meal. I think it might have been like 11 or 12 bucks I had in my pocket. So I wanted to like buy the most food I could with the little money that I had to like really grub up and like eat, so I'd have energy to go paint. Went to Macca's, I ate a whole ass Big Mac meal, like literally everything. Like there was not one drop of burger or like one fry or chip. I should say chip because it is a chip in the box. I ate everything, drank my whole Coke. We headed back to the train station. We grabbed our paint, and then this particular train station, as many train stations do in Sydney, there's like a row of shops. All the roller shutters were down. We just started bombing the shops, basically. And back then, I'm not sure how it works now, but back then in Sydney, they had a thing called, what were they called? They were like the train police. They were called, we used to call them grey dogs because I used to wear grey, and then they started wearing blue, so we called them blue dogs. I don't know what they're called now, but it was pretty much like these City Rail cops. And we're all bombing. It's like late at night at this point. It's probably like midnight, 1 o'clock. And I look to my right, and I see this white Ford Ute coming in hot. A Ute is a truck in Australia. It's called a Ute. It was a crew cab because it was 2 doors at the back, 2 doors in the front, and they come in hot. Like, I mean, like they were probably going like 80 Ks in this 50 zone to get to us in time. And I probably had a good 10, 15 seconds lead seeing them come from the end of the road down to where we were in the car park. And as soon as they pull up, literally, bang, doors open. 4 men jump out, and that was enough to be like, I looked at my mates, I was like, we got to go. We literally turned, ran. I ran so hard. I was wearing like a a fitted LA cap, running, and then my head went back and it blew the hat off my head. And I was just like, fuck it, just leave it. We got to get out of here. And we ran, and pretty much around the corner from this block of shops, people are going to know, if you know me personally, you're going to know exactly what train station and what block of shops I'm talking about. But there's a big drain, or Americans call them washers or ditches. There was a big ditch around the corner from the shop. So we ran, and this is our local area, so we knew it like the back of our hands. We knew all the spots to like get away. We ran through this drain, just running super hard. I think I looked back a couple times and I could see these grown-ass men like chasing us, but they were a good maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 meters behind us. So we were just running. We ran through this drain, and then at the end of the drain were these big, it's like a big drain. It has a big, kind of like a full pipe, but it's only like maybe 5 foot tall, so you've got to kind of crouch down to get under there and run. In Sydney, there's often rain, so these drains are kind of half wet, half dry. So it was mostly dry until we got to that point, and then we're kind of drudging through like ankle deep water, just running. We pop out the other side of the drain, and then it's a creek bed, because from that creek bed it goes into the bush, or the what do Americans call bushes? Woods, forest area. I guess we just call it a bush, but it led into the bush. And the smartest thing to do at the time would have been to just keep going into the bush, because that section of the bush connected to my house. Like there's a cul-de-sac near my house, and it was an alleyway, and it pretty much popped out into the bush right there. So if we just went straight, we would have ended up in the bush. We would have been home free. But for some reason in my mind, I was just running off adrenaline and fear. We were scaling these rocks out of the creek, and I slipped and I like cracked my shin. You know when you get a shinner on your skateboard? I pretty much like got a shinner on a rock, so my shin split open like maybe half an inch or something like that, and there was blood just pouring into my socks. We ran up this grassy embankment, and that part of the area, there's like apartments or flats or units. So we jumped this back fence, and it's loud. It's super loud. It's like a collar bond fence, so it's like swaying, and you hear like the bang. And then we're like hiding in the backyard of this apartment place. That's when we realized, like, we hear sirens, and we hear woof, 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 woof. They got Pole Air to come out and assist on the chase. So not only are we running from these grown-ass men that pulled up in the ute, we're running from a helicopter. Which is crazy to think about now, because that would have cost so much like petrol, and just, you know, to deploy a helicopter doesn't cost little money. It costs a lot of money, probably at least a few thousand. We were hiding in that apartment building in the backyard, and we were like, we got to move. We got to get out of here. We ran out onto the street, and we can just hear sirens, but you can't really pinpoint where they're coming from. So we're just running. We're not composed at all. At least I was not composed at all. Like me and my two other mates were just like running, like super out of breath. It was like we were getting chased by like a pack of dogs or something. So we end up finding this house that kind of looked like, the side of the house was kind of dark, and it looked like a good place to hide in middle of summertime too. So we ran into this person's front yard, went to the side of their house, and then we stopped because there was a bedroom window, and we're just there just trying to find our breath. I go to put my hand on the wall, and because it's summer, they have the window wide open. It's just a fly screen. My hand goes right through the fly screen into this person's bedroom, and like I feel the fly screen like fall onto this person's bed. I don't know if it hit them like at the head of the bed or like the foot of the bed, but I just feel the fly screen fall as like resistance onto the bed, and I was like, we got to get out of here. So we had to move from that spot. We ran back out onto the street. We're still hearing sirens, and we can hear the police helicopter and see the floodlight like not far from where we were. They were looking for us like hardcore. We get to this person's house, and I picked this house because it had a carport in the front which provided shadow, and then past that carport, like I ran into the carport, ran down the driveway, ran into the carport, hid behind the car. I realized that there was a gate that went to a backyard that was kind of open, so I opened the gate, and we went into this person's backyard, and we're hiding on this person's back patio. And like I said, it's summertime, so people have their windows open to let the breeze in and everything, because it gets super humid in Sydney in summertime. And we're hiding. Literally not even that long ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, I had just finished that whole Big Mac meal to myself. And we were just, you know, as I said, just like I was on all fours, just like trying to find my breath. I had a stitch or a cramp, as you guys would call them if you're watching from America. I was not in a good way. We were all freaking out. I had my phone on me and I grabbed it out and I just gave it to one of my friends and I said, ring. I'm not going to mention her name. It was my girlfriend at the time. She was probably asleep at home. One of my mates jumped on the phone. And then as he jumped on the phone, I could just hear the fear in his voice. He's like, hey, you got to come get us. Sean's throwing up, blah, 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 blah. And at that point, I was just like, blah, like throwing up my whole stomach. Like it wasn't just like a throw up because you feel sick. It was like a throw up because I ran as hard as I could and all the food and everything in my stomach just come out. Like my whole I could smell like Big Mac, stomach bile. It was gross. And I was like mid throwing up. And my other friend, my best friend, he put his hand like on my back in like a kind of caring way, like to say like, are you good? And I just remember being like I'd finished my throw up and I was just like, like patting him on the back. During all this ruckus, the people in the house had woken up. There must have been a master bedroom right there, but they woke up and the woman was like, get out of here, just nick off, would ya? And I was like, I remember feeling so disrespectful because I just threw up all over this person's back patio and we just made a whole ruckus. And I was just like, I'm sorry, we're going. And like I got to my feet and we ran out. We ended up finding another house. So this might be like the fourth house now we tried to hide to the side of or behind or whatever. But we found this house, all the lights were off. Again, there was like a side yard between the house and the fence. So we ducked into this side yard and pretty much my other friend had relayed where we were to my girlfriend at the time. So it was just a waiting game. We were just like sitting down the side of this house trying to be as quiet as we could to not make a peep and wake up the people in the house again and to not be seen from the road. Because at this point, there was police, like literally paddy wagons. And a paddy wagon in Sydney, if you guys aren't aware, it's basically a police truck / ute. The back of the bed is converted into this big plastic cage. So they open the back of it, you go in and they close it and you ride in the bed of the truck or the ute, sorry. And so we're just waiting. We're just seeing paddy wagons fly by, cruise by. And then the original dudes that came in the first truck that pulled up were still looking for us. They had spotlights. They were all like searching like this. And we were just like, just laying, just hoping and hoping. And then all of a sudden my phone starts to buzz. And then I look down the street and I just see a set of headlights coming up from this little, it was like a Holden Barina. Australians are going to know what car I'm talking about. It's like a early 2000s Holden Barina. I just seen the headlights coming up. I knew it was my missus. So I was like, okay, she's here. Let's go. We all just got up, ran as fast as we could into that car, jumped in the car, closed the doors, and then we just laid down in the car. We didn't even put belts on. We just laid straight down and she drove us back to my house. We were driving past cops. Police helicopter was still out. Like they were everywhere. It was almost like, you know when you get 5 stars in GTA 5 and there's like literally police everywhere? That's how it was. And it's safe to say it put the fear of God into me and my friends. We got back to the house after we told my missus at the time what had happened. She went back to bed and we just stayed in the lounge room. One of my friends stayed over that night. He slept on the lounge. My other friend went home. But we were pretty much like, we're good for now. We're not going to go like do anything super red hot like that anymore. Because at that time, you're 17, you're into graffiti. Our mission, it was our MO. We would go to Bunnings and rack paint, load up on spray paint, and then go and paint the weekends that we had off school. We were doing some like really risky red hot stuff. Nothing really compared to what other people have done in that whole Sydney graffiti culture, but there was a point where someone had gotten a hold of a key off a driver. And it was common in Sydney, if you got like keys from a train driver, you could snatch them or whatever. Had a key on it that opened every padlock to every gate on the City Rail network in New South Wales. So you could open a gate in Campbelltown, you could go to North Sydney, you could open a gate, you could go out west, you could open a gate. So we ended up getting a key and then we got it cut for each one of us. And I remember one of the locksmiths in the mall, it was like one of those little kind of islands in the mall where they like cut keys and fix shoes and stuff. We took him the key, and he kind of gave us a look, and he looked at it, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, boys, I don't have the right key for that." And he didn't want to cut it for us, but at the time we just thought he was just telling us that he couldn't do it, but it was purely because he didn't want to commit an offense. We ended up getting the key cut anyway. If you guys want to hear more stories like this, please let me know. This is like a super spontaneous kind of idea for a video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Sean. Make sure you check out eveningmob.com. You get free stickers with every order. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers for watching.